I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna speak my mind. I'm gonna be free and just say fuck it. I'm gonna just start, just fuck it. That's why the title of this stream is what it is, right? GameStop K. So if you don't know what that means, we are officially, at least me, I'm officially done with GameStop after my Switch 2 experience, right? Like all the way. Like I'm done. Like GameStop probably won't get $1 out of me anymore. Like for real, unless they put out a statement saying like it. My experience with GameStop in the Switch 2 pre-release was terrible. It was just bad all the way around. And it wasn't just me. So like it wasn't just me. It wasn't just the store I was at. It was like all across. Like all the horror stories that I saw were literally all GameStop. So we just gonna start by saying that, right? The first thing it that I seen, and why we not messing with GameStop at all, is that, chat, every single horror story was GameStop related. Of course, there were some other ones, right? But for majority, I seen at least 10 posts, right? 10 people posting, oh my God, this is the horror story that I went through with my Switch 2 pre-order, but I toughed it out because I paid for it. All GameStop. Every single one of them are GameStop, right? And if I promise you, if I did 10 more, or if I talked to like 10 more people, everybody's experience was horrible, piss poor, trash experience, bad experience all the way around, right? Here's what I can tell you. One reason why it was bad, and this is why I blame GameStop as a franchise, as a company, right? They couldn't get it right as a whole. Every GameStop was on some Wild Wild West shit, and everybody was doing their own thing. So every GameStop, if you went to 3 GameStops, they had 3 different processes for pre-order. That I can tell you off the bat. It was horrible, right? I've seen, hey, we're gonna take the people who are paying who didn't pre-order, we're gonna take them first. I've seen all types of shit, but I can only speak to my store and the experience that I had, and the experience I had at my store was just stupid. It made no sense, right? So before I get to that, and I promise you I'm going to get there, please, like, I'm setting an expectation for GameStop, and this is why I'm so pissed off with GameStop, and this is why I'm not messing with GameStop right now. Like, this is why I'm just like, nah, I'm cool on GameStop, right? Literally, GameStop had the worst pre-release like side like gifts and shit. GameStop had the worst ones. I seen Target had something cool. I don't remember what the one from Target, but I know it was something cool. Best Buy gave you like a little coin. They had like, it was like a little Switch 2 coin, which I didn't get one of those. Walmart, which shout out to Walmart, if you pre-release and they shipped it to your house, you got like a bag of chips and a Mountain Dew or something like that, or it was like a bag of chips and a soda. It was something, right? They gave you something. They're like, hey, yo, here, boom, we know you're gonna be up all night. W, right? Even if you don't eat that shit, or if you don't eat that, right? It's just a thought. It's like, you know what? They actually thought about me. What did GameStop do? A fucking pin. Not like a writing pen, like a pin that you like put on your shirt. I don't even know where it's at. I gave it to my little one. I'm like, bro, what is this? Here, get this out of here. Get this out, boom, get this out of my face, right? Then there were like some little cheap, they were like dirt, like they were some little cheap sunglasses. Like they were like dirt cheap, like the kind you get when you get your eyes checked and they give you like a little film to go, like it was something like that. And I'm just like, this. Which leads me into my side point, right? With the store-wide pre-release on top of that. And talking about my store. My store specifically had some very cool ideas. They wanted to do a pre-release launch party. So at about 9 p.m., they were going to start this party. They were going to have a bunch of local vendors there, and, a bunch of local vendors, which I did try. I'm not going to lie. I did try to get my job to be a part of, but we just couldn't pull it off. It was just too soon. And the timing wasn't right, and we just want to throw some slop together. So anyway, my store, they tried to do this. It rained, so which is why I'm assuming a lot of people backed out. People just kind of just, you know, they donated, they gave some, you know, supported, threw some pizza, brought candy, whatever. One company, I think they brought frisbees, just like little stuff like that, right? Which is cool. Shout out to that, right? But I get there at 9 p.m. No, that's not a lie. I wanted to get there at 9 p.m. I wanted to get there at 9 p.m. I ended up taking a nap, and I woke up late, and I'm like, I need to take a shower. So I woke up, got in the shower, got dressed, ended up getting there. The Gamestop's about 5 minutes from my house. Literally, it's probably less than that. About 5 minutes away from my house. Go over there. I get there about 10 o'clock. It was probably like 10:15 or something like that. Side note, I'm about to derail a little bit, but it's okay. Gamers, what is wrong with y'all? Oh my goodness. Like, gamers, we gotta do better. Like, man, y'all gotta take a shower. If y'all know we going somewhere where it's gonna be a lot of people and it's gonna be warm because there's more people and it's a warmer time of year, take a fucking shower, bro. Like, don't nobody want to smell your gamer sweats while we about to be standing in line for hours. You know we about to be all huddled up in this store because it rained. It doesn't even matter, bro. Take a shower. If you know you about to go somewhere and there's going to be people, take a shower. Clean yourself up. What? Like, put some deodorant, like something. Like, do something so that people, like, you might be cool with how you smell, but I'm not, and it bothers me. It's a triggering experience, right? This is why when they talk about gamers and when people say, oh, I'm a gamer and I do this and I do that, they already have this bubble of things that they think about you, right? And most of it is attached to body odor. I'm gonna say it right here. I'm gonna say it now. Gamers, get y'all body odor under control. Take a shower before you go to these events. Now, moving forward, right? So now we're at our store. I'm at my store. It's about 10 o'clock, right? I'm mad. I'm like, I can't believe I got here so late, but the line was cool. There were only about 10, maybe about 15 people in line that were in front of me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with that. There was no slip to say, hey, you got here. You were person number 15. There was none of that. There was literally just a line outside the store. The people, okay, let me just say, in theory, right? There's a line. You get in the line when they serve people, then you will get your switch to, you get out the door. So I'm thinking at most I will be there for an hour. I even took the time I went in the store, I interacted, I mingled with people the little bit that I could. It was just hard to, again, when we talk about the body odor, it was really hard to communicate with people with the body odor. I was just walking around stinking. Like, I'm like, dang, did something die? Like, did somebody, like, what? Like, did somebody, like what is going on? It literally just smelling like armpits and feet. That's what it smelled like, armpits and feet in there. And I'm just like, so I walk. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going outside. I'm chilling. I'm talking to the people that are standing in line. I'm just sitting there relaxing. Cool, right? It's about 10:45, right? They're literally not giving out anybody's switch until midnight. They are not releasing a switch from the store until midnight. So mind you, I have an hour and 15 minutes. I am standing in line in a good spot too. I got a great spot. So I'm looking, right? I'm looking at everybody's tweets online, talking at Best Buys and Targets, looking at the lines, and they're like, oh my God, like looking at the lines literally wrapped around the store. And I'm like, damn, they're gonna be here till 6 in the morning. Boy, was I wrong. Now, let's fast forward to about 11:50-ish, right? I'm gonna fast forward to about 11:50-ish. So about 11:50, you see people starting to get up. They starting to pick their chairs up that they brought the chairs. They're standing up, starting to get in line, lines start to get a little tighter. We were more casual. There was a group of people that I was standing next to who we were all close in line, and we were just chit-chatting and just talking about stuff, life, et cetera, right? Anyway, 11:50 comes out, so everybody who was in the store taking a part of the little party, they were playing Mario Kart in there and all that stuff, and there was like candy and drinks and all that stuff. All of that stuff was in there, right? They come out the store. You would think the natural line of progression would be for them to get in the line. No, that is not what happened, right? What ended up happening was, I don't know who it was, but there was an employee at the store, and I'm assuming it was this guy, because he was making bad decisions the entire time that I was there. It was the same employee, so I'm like pretty sure that it was him, if I can kind of connect the dots and think about all the other silly things that happened that night, right? So he, instead of telling people to go on the line, he tells people to go to the left and form another line outside the door. So now there's, instead of one line, there's two. So now, if you know anything about humans, two lines creates chaos automatically off the rip. Automatically creates chaos, right? So now the people who have been standing in line since whenever, who were first, second, third, fourth, all the way down to me, the 15th. Now there's another line, which means these people that are in that line over in the other line, which is a much shorter line, automatically are skipping in front of people who already got there, right? Strike one. Here's my thing, right? I don't even care. I could care less. I knew it was a Switch 2. I knew it was a pre-launch. I know it's one of the biggest pre-launches that's like probably ever. It's one of the biggest ever. It was crazy. It was pandemonium, right? I get it. I was full on expecting for something to happen. So I was patient. I'm a typically super patient person, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. As long as I get my Switch, I'm good. Right? Cool. So now it's midnight. The line moves, did not move for 30 minutes after. So I'm like, oh man, maybe it's just, they getting the systems ready. Surely there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be standing in this exact same spot in 30 minutes. Boy, was I wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. 45 minutes go by and I had moved 3 steps just to find out that not only what they were doing, they were taking people in the line in front of us. They were taking people who had trade-ins. They were taking people who had trade-ins who didn't fully pay it off or didn't have pre-orders at all. They had people raise their hands, literally pulled them to the side and took them first. This is when I crash out. I didn't crash out loud, but I started to in my head. I'm like, yo, what is going on at this crazy ass store? Like, why? Fuck all that. Gamestop. Let me talk to you. Let's get real close and personal right here, right? Why don't y'all just go with the old school style? Stop trying to reinvent the fucking wheel, right? Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Well, just do the old school. Or if you want to get modern, get the little iPad, have a list of the people who fully paid it off. There should be a separate line for them, because literally all it is for you is you're going to hand them a box with the Switch 2, this box right here. You say, hey, what's your name? Where's your ID? Okay, cool. You paid it off. Boom. Oh, your number? You were number 67. Here you go. Have a great day. That is how quick it should have been. It was not that quick. It was literally just lines and lines of pandemonium, chaos. There's no reason that I should have to wait in line when somebody had to trade something in. That's insane. They should have to wait, or there should be a separate line for everybody else. Hey, here's the people who pre-ordered. Here's the people who didn't. Or hey, here's the people who pre-ordered and they just have to pay money. Hey, if you have to do a trade-in, you either should have done that earlier, Or B, you should have, here's a separate line that's just for y'all, for people who got to do trade-ins. Cool, whatever, right? So I'm kind of letting stuff go. I'm chilling, but there's a dude that's like a couple steps behind me that is not cool with it. So about after 45 minutes of us not moving an inch, not budging, he got mad, and he walks up to the front, and he says, and he sees, now he's starting to see why the line's not moving. He sees that there's a line of other people, and on top of that, they're just taking random people in who have not pre-ordered. So he's like, yo, how's this line gonna work? Why is there a line over there? Why is there a line over there of people when these people have been waiting there? And then the guy at the store like, oh, well, they've been waiting here since 11 o'clock. And then like, he's like, okay, cool. But we've been waiting here since 9, 10 o'clock. So how's it fair that they can walk out of the store from the pre-launch party? Everybody else had to get in line, but they get to skip the line. At that point, valid, right? That was a valid point, super valid. But he was in a rush. He was like, I got somewhere to be at 3 in the morning and blah, blah, blah. That's on you, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That was on bro. He should have 100%. He should have 100%. If you got somewhere to be, you should have canceled those plans, because anything can happen. If you was planning on going to work, you should have called off. I'm not gonna lie. That wasn't the wisest idea, but I don't blame him, right? Because in theory, we should have been gone. We should have been in and out within an hour. How close we were to the front of the store. We were so close. But then there were people who were in our line who were walking out and around and going in that line. That's when it became a problem, because the line that was not the original line, we're starting to get help before we were. That's when it started to become a problem. So now he walked back up to the front, and now his declaration, his flag, what he stood on, he did not say it to the GameStop employees. He said it to the people that were in the other line. He said, hey, look, I've been waiting here for this long. It is not fair that y'all are getting help before the people who are standing in this line. I'm just letting y'all know now, ain't none of y'all getting help before me. That's exactly what he said. He said, not one of y'all getting help before me. So me, I'm like, that's not about to go any well. And I thought that people were just gonna be like, just back down and just be like, all right, whatever. Because people start looking around, whatever. And then somebody was like, I got kids out here. Like, fuck them kids, blah, blah, blah. Which, you can't say fuck the kids. But, you know, to be fair, you probably shouldn't have had no kids out there at that late at night. I almost brought my little one out there, but I already know she is not patient, and she was not gonna be with it. She's like, Eli, I'm ready to go. What's taking so long? And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just trying to enjoy this. But anyway, right? So then there's a guy that's in the other line. He screams, shut the F up, you B word, blah, blah, blah. He's like, shut your B word up. Instant escalation from that point. Mind you, the only reason why I'm in between. So it's a guy who's standing behind me. He's like 2 people behind me. And then there's a guy that's in the other line, and it's like he's like 10, 11, 12 people down. So they have to walk past me for it to go down for sure. And I was gonna let it go down. I ain't gonna lie, I was gonna let it go down. That is none of my business. That is absolutely none of my business, right? But here's the problem. Here's the problem. They were like, we could fight. It could go down right now. We gonna go, like, we could throw hands right now. I don't care about this Switch 2. Like, I'm gonna get my Switch and then I'm gonna whoop your ass. Like, it was like that. And then so they're like, he's like, what you gonna do? So they're walking up on each other. So they're about from here to here. They get to this point, dukes up. Like, they're like full on dukes up, like about to fight. So at this point, they were so close to me. If they were going to fight, they could have hit me on accident. So that's when I got involved, because I ain't having that. Because if either one of y'all hit me, even on accident, I'm whooping both of y'all ass and all 3 of us going to jail and nobody getting a Switch 2 tonight. How about that shit? So that's how I felt about that. So I had to choose the other route and I had to de-escalate the situation, right? So I had to pull the dude that was behind me. I'm like, hey, and he was black. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, hey, bro, like, you gotta chill. Like, I know it's fucked up, that, but it's like, ultimately, at the end of the day, bro, you gotta chill, Like, even though you not wrong, you're gonna look like you wrong. And I'm gonna be honest, bro, like, because you're black. Like, so you're gonna look like the bad guy, automatically. He's like, fuck that dude. Fuck that guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, nah, you really gotta chill. Because if it go down, you're going to jail. That's not what we came here for. We came here to get video games and have fun and go home and enjoy our family and play our Switches and have good vibes and all that stuff. But like, now you're about to ruin it because you got an ego. He was like, but no, he disrespected me. I understand he disrespected you. I completely understand. And I'm agreeing with you that he disrespected you. But you got to be above the disrespect, because right now is not the time. Now, if you got the Switch in your hand and you walking out to the parking lot and you see him and y'all want to look, and you want to, look, that's on you. Look, hey, I ain't mad at you. But before we get there, don't do that. Don't do that. That's just no bueno. You defeat. So now, not only think about it, right? And I had to like literally tell him, like, bro, think about it like this, bro. Like, if you fight him, you're gonna get arrested and you're going to jail. You're going to jail 100%, right? So now, instead of paying $500, now you're gonna have to pay $1,000 to bond out because you wanted to get into a fight, because you wanted to prove your ego, right? You got to think about this shit. So now, this for you, that you $500 you didn't pay for your Switch. Now you got to pay a $500 bill at minimum, maybe even more, depending on how bad the fight get. Or they be like, nah, you can't come back to our store anymore, and now you don't get a Switch too. That's an option too. You got to think about all these things, right? So I'm telling him this, and he finally calmed down. He like, you right, bro. Like, I got to calm down. I got to chill 100%. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now we good. But now that this is happening, you got all these little chatty patties who keep talking. They're like, so after we've got everybody to calm down, it's just these chatty patties that's like, oh my God, I can't do that. This is some high school shit and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, shut. And so I had to literally turn around and be like, yo, shut up. Y'all are literally escalating it. And mind you, these are people who are way older than me. They're in their 40s, 50s, all types of shit. Like, y'all have to stop. If y'all wanted to die down and y'all wanted to be dead, you have to stop talking. Y'all got to shut the fuck up. Right? So now that's strike. That's another thing. So then after it's already over, then the GameStop employees come out like, what's going on out here? What the fuck y'all gonna do? It's already over. Matter of fact, why the fuck this line ain't moving? Why are we standing here even getting into the point that there's a fight and with a bunch of people who don't even know each other? It's because y'all moving too damn slow. Mind you, now at this point it's 1 a.m. and I'm still standing in the same fucking spot. So I have not moved yet. That's the fucked up part. There's literally 5 people in front of me to get to the door. The door is, I could touch the door. But the line's not fucking moving. That's insane. Store experience bad. You have the people mixed in with pre-orders. You got the people who haven't even purchased or pre-ordered a Switch 2. You have the people who are doing trade-ins. You got the people who paid in full, and then you got people skipping the line, all going on at one time. That is automatically an excuse, a blend for disaster. Now, GameStop, if you want, I could have got that line by myself. I could have got that line cleared out in 2 hours, and it is extremely simple. It is extremely simple, right? Hey, if you already have your pre-order paid for, get in this line. We had the whole parking lot. Get in this line here. We were gonna take y'all first because y'all are the easiest. Let me pull out an iPad. I'll have a PDF file or an Excel sheet of all the names of the people who have already paid off their pre-order Switch, right? They come in, they show their ID, say first and last name, they get marked off. Oh, they have Switch number, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Guess what? Boom. Did they buy any accessories? Yes or no? Okay, here's the accessories that they have. Boom. Have a great day. Swiped it off. Go to the next one. Okay, next. And you keep doing that. You get those people out of the store because those are the people who should be served like first. Now, after that, then you have the people who need to pay, who have the money and are not doing a trade-in. You take them next, and at the same time, you start getting the people in line who have pre-ordered but need to do trade-ins. The people who have not done a pre-order need to absolutely be last. Absolutely be last. Y'all lost your minds. But yeah, so that's how my Switch 2 experience literally was. I didn't get into the house until another hour later, mind you, so at least it took me at least another 45 minutes for me to get my Switch 2. Once I got in the store, it was finally decently quick. I'm gonna just say all in all that, like, I will never ever pre-order something of that magnitude at GameStop ever again. And my brain immediately first went to what's the next big release, right? GTA 6, which is cheaper than a Switch 2. So if you think that people are not going to be out like crazy for GTA 6, you are mistaken. And there's going to be a lot of people out. There's going to be a lot of people out. There are going to be more people because the game is cheaper, and the PS5 and the Xbox, it has already been out for a while. So people are just going to be able to just buy it instead of buying a full console, right? There's no way in hell I'm going to GameStop to do that. Which I skipped a point. And I'm almost done. But I skipped the point for sure. There's no way that double the people went to Target and Best Buy and those lines were cleared out within an hour or two maximum. I have to drive past Target and Best Buy to go home. I drove past them at 3 o'clock. Absolute ghost town, absolutely empty. Everybody who got their stuff, they had already got their stuff and they were home. I'm looking on Twitter. I'm looking at some of my coworkers. They're already at home unboxing their shit, testing out shit. Look at me. Nope. Still sitting in line like a dumbass because I pre-ordered at GameStop. Won't happen again. Won't be me. GameStop, do better, man. Like, it was just bad. It was piss poor. Like, and I'm glad I'm one of those people I can separate, like, hey, this is the experience of the Switch 2 itself, and that this is the experience I had at GameStop. I'm glad that I can separate the two because there's a lot of people who can't, and they would just be like, yo, my Switch 2 experience sucked. No, my GameStop experience sucked. I love the Switch 2, and I haven't played a single minute of a single game on it yet. And I know it's good. I know the Switch 2 is good. But yeah, man, that's it. That's all I gotta say about that. Fuck, man. GameStop, do better.